All right, welcome to White Coat Black Sheep, where science gets curious and dogma gets uncomfortable. I'm Dr. Civelli, and today we talk physiology, evidence, and real world medicine, plus the questions you're not supposed to ask but probably should. If you care about health and think there's a better way, welcome to our show. So, today with us, we have Francisco Padilla. He is a doctor of physical medicine, doctor of physical therapy, and he's also a business owner. So today, we're going to be talking about your experience and your journey. And I loved reading your story. You mentioned, and I'll just read in your words.
Okay.
So, my journey hasn't been traditional. I went from addiction, incarceration, and surviving severe burn injuries with multiple surgeries to earning my doctorate and opening my own physical therapy practice. Love it.
Thank you.
Today, I use my story and platform to inspire others with a focus, especially at risk youth and people who feel like their past disqualifies them from success. That's awesome. Through healthcare, business, fitness, and mentorship, I'm passionate about proving that adversity does not have to define your future. Wow. Hello. I'm
Okay.
so honored to have you on. Thank you so much for joining.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited about it. I've been listening to your podcast, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, I mean, you've been through the fires. Like you've been battle tested and then you walk through it. How do you think you did it? I know that's the biggest question, but what is your what's the core of you that just is like don't quit?
I feel like a lot of it was just knowing that there was more to life. A lot of the time, just going through every adversity from the beginning to the end, I felt like I just kept getting battles thrown at me,
Yeah.
and I knew there was a reason for it at the end of the day, even though at that moment I couldn't really see it just because of the pain, just because of the
Yep.
trauma, just because of, the lowest places I've been and
Yep.
just the dark places I've been. And I always just knew there was more, and I just never stopped. I just kept believing and just kept going, I would say.
So you felt like there was an underlying purpose.
Yes, 100%. I felt like this can't be all. Like,
Yeah.
this can't be all. Like, just, being incarcerated, like this can't be it.
Yeah.
I have an out date, I need to do something when I get out, or, just from the addictions, this can't be it, and from when I was in the hospital for 10 and a half months, like, I'm like, this
Oh
can't
my
be it.
gosh. That's a
So
long time.
yeah, yeah, I just, things lasted longer than it's supposed to, just
Yeah.
because when I was there, like infections were occurring, one thing after another. My car accident happened September 3rd, and they told me I would be home by Christmas, but I didn't end up going home until July 15th. So it was just, one thing after another, had to get more surgeries. Skin grafts weren't healing the way they're supposed to. So, just through all those struggles, I felt like, you know, this has to be for a purpose. And, you know, due to them, though, it's led me here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back. Sorry, we had to take a little 2 minute. I had a little cough. I couldn't work out.
Yes.
So, back to you, back to your story. You were pushing through a lot, like a lot, but you still found purpose throughout the pain, which is huge. I love when people do that. So, take it away.
Yeah, so at that moment, just going through recovery, I was burned almost like close to 80% of my body. I went through 30 surgeries total. So just
Gosh.
the time there, went through a lot of depression, went through a lot of times of like, why me? Why, why am I still here? Why, and even though like the medical providers, surgeons, the physical therapists, occupational therapists, nurses, they were all telling me that it would get better. And at that moment, you don't believe it. You're just in so much pain. I lost the digits to my hand too. So it
Wow.
was just, you know, and couldn't walk, couldn't do anything on my own. So it really hit pretty hard. And it wasn't until, time passed by to where I was finally able to walk again, being able to stand up on my own and, started making those changes that, I kind of started seeing like the light a little bit that, things are going to get better.
I'm sure it was every day was its own journey. Good days, bad, and really moment to like minute to minute. Like what a mind experience you're just like having to push through. Cause I'm sure there were some low lows you did not know existed.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I had never been through nothing like that. Like, I've been through my fair share. Like, I wasn't like the greatest student. I was a high school dropout. Got my GED in prison, and so everything was, I wasn't. I've been through my fair share, but nothing like this. Like, this was just like the biggest test. It was the biggest test for me, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I made it out and I'm better now. But
Yeah.
that was very challenging.
Yeah. It seems like you're really making sense of the pain that you had
Mhm.
to go through. And I would imagine, I know at least for myself, the things where I find I had to question, the things that crippled me to my knees where I'm crying and I'm down and I'm just like, why am I dealing with this? Like, why is this my life's moment right now? Almost like, I don't know, in my case, if I felt bad for myself, but it definitely was like, why? Because I feel
Mhm.
like I make good decisions and I don't know, even if it's like not good decisions, whatever is the situation, like there's things, I don't care who you are, like in this life, you will get broken down. And I feel like if it hasn't happened yet and you're still like riding that wave, awesome. But you will be tested.
Yes, I feel, like you said, it's a perfect example. It doesn't matter if you're doing good or bad. I feel like we all do get tested, one
Yep.
way or another. And sometimes we even question it, like, why them, if, they've never did any harm, or anything like that. And they've been good people their whole lives and stuff. And it still happens, we all get
Yeah.
tested and we all deal with it different ways. And,
Yeah.
like you said yourself, you've been tested and, you question why, but, you're here and you're doing good. And,
Yeah.
like, a lot of that, even when people ask me like, how was it, and it was difficult at that time, but if it wasn't because of all those difficulties, I wouldn't be where I'm at, and I always tell people it's like a painful blessing because it
Yeah.
was really a eye opener for me and it got me to the point where I'm at today, being able to have conversations with awesome people like yourself and being able to
Thank
be
you.
here and help so many patients out now,
Yeah.
have my own business, have my own clinic to where people come in and feel comfortable. So,
Yeah.
you know, all of it happened for a reason.
It did.
Mm.
Would you ever wish that it didn't happen? Like the burns, the incarceration, like any of it, would you ever wish that to just like undo if you could?
No, I would go through it all over
Same.
again just to be where I'm at today.
I feel the same. Isn't that
Yes.
wild?
Yeah.
And it was like you suffered greatly. Why? Right? Like why?
It's just the finish line. You get to the finish line and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still not there yet. I feel like I'm just still growing and I'm still, kind of just help my mindset kind of just get better and more broad. And I feel like now, like the sky's the limit. Like I feel like there's no limitations to what I could achieve,
Yeah.
just because I think of everything that I've been through already. And like you said yourself, the things that you've been through, like even though they're painful, even though they're difficult, like you would do it all over again. And I feel the exact same way.
Yeah. And I think what else is interesting, at least my takeaway from the things that I've gone through, which everybody has those things that again breaks them. So mine is
Hmm.
different than what you had to go through that broke you
Hmm.
and made you in some way different on the other side. Like, and you can't ever shift back to that person that you were prior to whatever was the event. I really just think that there's just it's it's your purpose. It's your
Yes.
purpose, and you're meant to be whoever you are on the other side, and that is just it's almost like you could feel like a victim on that side, but then, you made it. So now what, right? So making sense of that is the next phase. And then like, is this for you? Is this for other people? I mean, it's really you could get trapped in like a whole like deep rabbit hole with it. But
No, and that's 100% accurate because, I know a lot of people that have been through similar situations and they, instead of, you know, trying to do better, they do play the victim and they're just like,
it's
they get stuck.
easier.
Yes,
It's easier to
100%.
be and the victim in the sense of like you're stuck in that why me phase and
Hmm.
you're not putting any energy and purpose into the pain. You're just sitting there like receiving and really taking energy,
Yeah.
right? It's just like I don't know. I never wanted to be that. Like I always like to just give and at some point I don't know, finding the meaning of the suffering has to that's my thing.
Yeah.
And that's really my takeaway from what I know to be true about you, and that's so freaking awesome.
No, yeah, and like you said, I 100% agree because like just because of what you've been through, you're able to help somebody else out with it, right?
Yeah,
It's like if you know someone that's going through a similar situation,
yeah,
now you have relatability to them,
yeah,
instead of just kind of guessing.
yeah.
And I feel when we have been through those difficult times,
Mhm.
we're able to help more people out because of those difficult times, and instead of just playing that victim. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome that we're a select few are able to move forward and be
yeah,
able to make those better choices and stuff because now we're able to help more people out because of it.
yeah, which was not the initial intention, but
No,
it's
at all.
I
At
mean,
all.
there's easier ways to help
Hmm.
people, but geez. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, like I wish, sometimes is, like I would go through it all over again, um, and I feel like it's created the person that I am today.
Mhm.
But like you said, there's sometimes there probably is easier ways, because I know other people that haven't been through them and they're still doing well. They have, being able to help other people out too, but some
Yeah.
of us have to go through more.
Yeah, definitely. Were there people in your life that have fallen out of your life throughout your growth, your change, your difficult moments?
Yeah, 100%. The I lost,
Filter.
yeah, like I lost like a lot of friends.
Yep.
And some of them are still friends, but we just don't hang out anymore.
Yeah.
They just I don't know what it is. Sometimes I don't feel like it's me. Because I'm the same person. I still hang out. I still talk the
Wait, but
same
are
way.
you? Are you the same person?
In a sense, I am, and then I'm not. Like, I'm a lot busier for one. I'm a lot
Yeah.
busier just because of the business and my family and my kids and my wife.
Yeah.
But I've now grown in mindset. I'm not, just doing, wasting time anymore the way I used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, in a sense, I'm not the same person. So like, I cherish my time a lot more now. I would say,
I love it.
and I try to choose the people I spend my time with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you have a big point there because, like, you do, like, cause
I had to
yeah.
ask myself that because I'm like, I'm the same me.
Yes.
But wait, no, I'm actually not. I don't talk about the same things.
Mhm.
I don't care about the same things. When you get really broken down to like your nuts and bolts,
Yeah.
and then you're just in cracked pieces and you have to figure out and put
Mhm.
yourself back together, like, who am I? What
Yeah.
am I? What's my purpose? What's the point of me? Why am I like dealing with this and having to walk through that and recover and like rebuild? Like, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? There's just like why you're asking all those questions. And then you go back to your friendships and they haven't gone
Yeah.
through this like whole thing. I it's like our conversations have shifted. Like I can't just I'm s- I it feels trivial to talk about the things that we once did. And I hate to even say that. I don't want to say like every conversation should be so deep. Okay, it
Mhm.
shouldn't. Sometimes it's like I had to learn to have fun too.
Yes.
So but it's just adding layers of depth, I guess, was part of my journey.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because I would go to like, just get-togethers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because obviously they'll invite and stuff, and the conversations are the same conversations that were happening 15
Yes.
years ago, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I did grow a lot, and that kind of doesn't
Yeah.
catch my interest anymore, and
Yeah.
so sometimes I kind of just shy myself away a little bit and a little bit more and
Yeah.
kind of show up a little bit less, and
And it's not rude.
yeah, no,
It's real.
mm-hmm.
And I think real is still like always the answer.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100% because yeah, I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, I would rather just be spending time with people that are like-minded, and
Yeah.
if I'm not, just with my wife and kids,
Yeah.
and my family.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right? And it feels like the obligation is still exists, right?
Hmm.
You probably you probably outgrew people and you didn't want to admit it to
Yeah.
yourself. I have.
Yeah.
And it feels bad. It feels in some way like a bad thing, but it shouldn't be. Because I feel like everybody has a meaning and purpose at certain times in our life.
Mhm.
So I think valuing that is a step that I'm having to figure out and just acknowledging it. But then it's like you're not like the inner circle right now.
Yeah.
You were awesome at the time that like we were hanging out, but like now like this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going and this is who I need to be surrounded by so that I can really target my goals and grow as a person and be fully like purposeful.
Yeah. No,
So it's different.
yeah, no, it really is. And I guess it's you hit it, the nail on the coffin with that. Like, I feel like I was just kind of probably not wanting to admit it, but
I feel guilty.
yeah, I feel guilty
I feel
about you
guilty.
know outgrowing people. You feel guilty about
Like it's negative on them, but it's not.
yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, and it just some of us grow in different ways, and some of us
Mhm.
grow faster, and some of us want more,
Yeah.
and some people are just comfortable, and it isn't anything negative. It's
Yeah.
just I see that I have a lot more to accomplish and achieve in this life, and I can't be wasting time.
Yeah. You I mean, to get into DPT school, that's already very, very challenging.
Yes.
What was that experience like? Because I know there's probably a lot of people that do listen that are trying to get in. So, what did that look like, and what were some barriers?
Yeah, so for physical therapy for myself, like I said, I got my GED in prison, so education was completely new to me.
That is
So
fantastic.
yeah, and I didn't even know I could really do it. It's a lot of my personal physical therapists that were my physical therapists at the hospital. We grew a bond where I was there for so long with them that they actually motivated me to go back to school. And the
Wow.
nurses were like, "Go back to school, Francisco. Don't go back to your same neighborhood. Don't go do the same things. Go to school."
Is your
And
neighborhood rough
yes, yeah, just the way I grew up, the things I got involved with and stuff like that. So
in
just
Wasco?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, and that's why they're just telling me, you need to stay off the streets. You need to stay out because when I got in my car accident, I had just been out of prison for 1 year, and
Okay.
when I went into prison, I did 5 years in prison.
Wow.
So they knew my past, and that's why it was completely different for me because I finally had I never grew up knowing professionals. I didn't know no doctors. I didn't know no nurses, physical therapists. I didn't know these careers even existed. I'm growing up
Because
in the area.
Wasco is very rural.
Yes, I just knew agriculture fields and oil fields. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think there's just the one clinic, right? Are there other
there's
clinics?
other clinics now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah, there's other clinics now. It's
Okay.
growing,
Yeah.
but it's still not the biggest. But
Yeah.
we are growing,
Yeah.
and that's what that's all I knew. So when my dream was to work in the oil fields, that was like my dream. That was like the biggest achievement I could accomplish because I didn't want to go to college or anything like that. So but that took a turn, when I went to prison because I had just turned 19. I went to prison 5 years, got out at 24. And not even a year after, I was working in the oil fields when I got in my car accident. And
Wow. So you had achieved that.
yes, I
Were
did
you
achieve that.
happy at that time?
Yes, I was happy at that time. I was working a lot.
Oh.
I thought that was the dream. I thought that was the life, working 12, 14-hour shifts. At that, it was in 2012. So the oil fields were booming at that time here in
Oh, that's a
Bakersfield.
good year.
Yeah, that was a good year. So it was busy, and I'm working a lot of overtime. You
Yeah.
know,
Were you
y-
married
no, I
and
wasn't married,
okay.
so I was just,
Man.
yeah, I was just living the life, just, it was good for me. I had just got out, so I was like making good money. I was working a lot. I was
Mhm.
busy. I had just got my car, so I'm just like, this is good. This is good living. And then my car accident happened, and that's when
Oh my
everything turned for
gosh.
me. So you, just being around like other professionals and them actually talking to me like a human being, not just seeing me from my past.
Yeah.
It was kind of very, very motivating because I still talk to them to this day. Like I have their personal cell phones, and we talk and we text, and they're the ones that sent me like reference letters when I was trying to go back to
Oh,
college.
I love
Yeah,
that.
so they really helped out, and that's why I love medical professionals. Everybody. I respect them all. It don't matter what field it is, I respect it because a lot of them had their part in my journey of recovery and getting better, and also just becoming a physical therapist because they all believed in me and they were like, Francisco, you could do more. You're a smart kid. You're able to, you're very young still.
Wow.
So, them believing in me and, I didn't know anybody that went to college. I was a first generation college student in my family also.
Oh my goodness.
So, just finding out how to get started, how to enroll in college, how to do all
It's a
these things.
nightmare, right? It
Yes.
is a nightmare.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
They don't
listening.
make it easy. No.
No.
No, they don't make it easy, especially for someone that, I feel like in high school now, because I had let a few of them go shadow at the clinic and, I try to give them some mentorship now. But back then, well, I didn't go to college school that much, so they probably did back then too. I just didn't pay attention. But I didn't have that guidance of like, you need to do this to go to college. You need to do this. You need to do this.
Yeah.
So when I enrolled, me and my wife now, but it was my girlfriend at the time, we actually started going to college together.
Oh my
And we're just kind of
gosh.
like learning as we go because she's first generation college student too. So we're
Wow.
just learning on our own as we went and just went nonstop, didn't take no summers off, and we're able to get done pretty fast. And to get into DPT school is very competitive. So you
It's near impossible.
yeah, so you really
Yeah.
want to make sure that you are giving it your all, making sure that you have a high GPA and that you're getting, especially with the prereqs, that you are, achieving like A's and B's because if you're getting C's and stuff like that, they're not going to accept you
Mhm.
because obviously they want you to be able to pass your program also. And if
Yeah.
they know you're barely passing your prereqs, they're not going to accept you. So
Yeah.
I was a little older when I went to college, so I already had that
What's
mindset like,
older? Just
uh,
because a
uh,
lot of people don't
yeah, I
know.
started at 28. I started
Okay.
college at 28. I had birthday turned
Okay.
28 when I started college. And so when I started, I'm 38 now. And
Okay.
yeah, and but I was 28. So when I started, I'm like, I know what I need to do. I sold like my car, I sold like my toys, I sold my jet
I
skis,
love it.
I sold my motorcycle, I sold
Yeah.
everything, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go full time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the
From
sacrifice
your
and
oil money.
yes, from my own money. I'm gonna get rid of everything, and I don't have money for repairs right now or anything like that. So I'm just gonna go to school full time.
You wanted it.
Yes, 100%. And that's what I was able to do. I was able to, just put everything to the side, friends, family, and, just me and my girlfriend, we're able just to study full time and we lived together and we just studied and just, it was difficult for even just a relationship, just because
Oh,
all we did was study.
miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all we did was
Like, it's
study.
not fun. You're not
Yeah.
getting dopamine from that. You're just
No.
like, "Ugh."
Yeah, and I wasn't the smartest kid either, so I was just had to study a lot, and I was, making sure and I was stress myself out, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's why I did well enough because I stressed myself to the point where like I'm not gonna leave this room until I get it down. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna leave this room until I make sure that I'm able to get an A or B, and and I was able to get it done because of that. So it is difficult to get in. So if you are thinking and considering DPT school, you want to make sure that you start off college from the get go with the
Mhm.
strong mindset that it's gonna be difficult, but if you sacrifice these short years and stuff, you'll get there. And
Short.
yeah, short years. Yeah, now it's a lot of schooling, but time will fly by.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how long did it take for you to get your bachelor's?
It took me 4 years exactly with all the prereqs.
You were speedy.
Yes,
A
yeah, I
lot of
was.
people can't say that.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it was just like my mindset at that time
Yeah.
because I know like a lot of younger people right now too. They're like, oh, I'm gonna take the summer off, or I'm gonna get done with my bachelor's, then I'm gonna
It's
start
hard
taking
to
the
hear that,
prereqs.
right? It pains me to hear things like that.
Yes,
I'm
for
like, "For
myself.
what? For fun?" I
Mm-hmm.
mean, also, granted, like, I struggle to, like, think about, like, doing fun. I'm more, like, work mode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah, I
No, I agree with
same
you. Like
mindset.
it does. Like sometimes I feel like, getting on them and be like, no, why are you gonna take summer off?
Yeah,
But, just you're already in the studying mode, just keep studying, keep doing it,
yeah,
keep
why would
taking
you
out.
break it?
Yeah, yeah. Why would you break that, that routine that you already
Yes,
have?
the habits.
Yeah, because those
Yes,
habits sometimes are hard to get back into.
they're so hard. You
So
taste fun, you just are like, "I want more fun."
yeah, 100%. And that's why like I feel like it was good for me because I didn't take no summers off. I didn't,
Yeah,
do anything other than study for like 4 years straight. And I got done with all my prereqs with anatomy and physio, with physics 1A, physics 2, chem 1, chem 2,
mhm,
in addition to all the classes that I needed for my bachelor's.
mhm.
And I was able to get it done in 4 years exactly.
Exercise science?
Exercise science. Yeah, I got my
Okay,
bachelor's in kinesiology, exercise science.
awesome,
Yeah.
okay. And then was that local?
I went to Fresno State.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
Bakersfield College here for my associates, then transferred to Fresno State for my
Okay.
bachelor's.
Okay, amazing. And then you had to still take an entrance exam, right? I forget which
Yeah,
one.
GRE.
GRE.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. Okay, so I never took the GRE. I took the MCAT, but like they're all just as miserable,
Yes.
miserable, miserable. How did you prepare for that?
It was I would always buy programs because I knew I wasn't gonna be the best like test taker.
Yeah.
So I would look online and I'll do some research. I'm like, what's program's gonna be, better prepare me to be able to take this exam.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot which program it was. It's been years now.
Kaplan?
Probably, it was probably through, like, Kaplan, because Kaplan has,
Disgusting.
like, programs to for everything.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so I
Mr.
think
Kaplan's probably very rich.
yes, no, especially because he's helping you pass all these exams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to do good enough on the GRE, and especially, like, I had pretty good grades on my, prereqs and stuff. I was able to average, like, a for the prereqs, I think I, like, had a 3.8 GPA, and then overall, like, a 3.7 GPA. So when
Okay.
I started applying to these programs in the GRE, I forgot the score, but I scored decent enough to be competitive when I applied.
I love how real you are. Like, people just don't throw out their stats like that. Just so you guys know, whoever's listening, like, you're super real and authentic because it's like a secret.
Yeah.
And okay, so I'm first generation doctor, so am, I guess I relate to you.
Mhm.
I don't think of it as like, why are we like scorekeeping or hiding or like, I don't
Mhm.
know, like there's some things I had to retake, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's okay to say that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, it's not like it's freaking hard. It's hard
Mhm.
for a reason, and we're
Yeah.
not naturally born doctors,
Yeah.
and so you had to, like, really want it. You had to really, like, invest financial
Mhm.
and physical and emotional and everything. Like, you really, like, threw all in, and
Yeah.
that's what it takes.
No, like, I had forgot to mention that part too. Like you said, sometimes we have to retake classes. Like anatomy and physiology, I got a C on both of them the first time I took them, so I retook them again, and
Yeah,
I was able to get an A the second time,
yeah,
so that brought my GPA up.
yeah,
So, don't feel bad about, not getting it the first try or,
yep,
like having to retake it. Sometimes we have to do more than the average, and that's okay because,
yeah,
we all will, hopefully if you stay consistent, reach the finish line, and
yeah,
get there at the end of the day.
yeah, it's about not quitting.
Yeah.
If you
No.
quit, you're for sure not gonna make
Yes,
it.
you won't achieve anything if you just quit every time,
Yeah,
but if you just stay consistent, as you keep trying, I feel, there's you can't, you know, you can't fail if you keep trying. You
yeah,
can't. You're gonna end up at the finish line. It doesn't matter how
yeah.
long it takes, but you'll get there.
It's more respectable too.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to ask, when you applied and you did okay, so here's my GPA, here's my GRE,
Hmm.
and here's my entrance, like, what do you call it in PT world? Like, pretty much like your personal statement,
Oh, yes.
where you're like, here's my passion, and like
Mhm.
you just like pour your heart out on this paper. And then some people try to be funny, some people get ghostwriters. Like, it's a whole thing. Okay, the
Mhm.
application process is a whole thing. You had to interview, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what was that experience like? And did you lead with what you had gone through?
Yeah. Um, I was always nervous talking to professionals because I always felt like
They're elitist.
yes, yeah, like they're gonna
Totally.
judge me from, my past,
They
from,
are.
what I've been through.
They
Yes,
will.
yes, and they did,
They did.
they did, and even when I passed my board exam, I still had to wait for my license because they had to do another background check. They had to,
Totally.
I had
Yeah.
to write letters to make sure that I was rehabilitated and stuff like that. I'm like, you think I would go to school for 7 years
Red
and
tape.
yeah, and put all this money into
Yes.
schools and stuff like that if I wasn't rehabilitated? But
Yes.
you know, I felt like it was difficult because I thought they were gonna just deny me because of that, but,
And they
uh
might.
yes, and I feel like a few of them did. I feel like a few of them didn't even
Yeah.
complete my application
Yeah.
because I checked that box of,
Yep.
I have a record,
Yeah.
I've been through this,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's why I didn't hear back from some programs, and,
Yes.
I'm thankful for the programs that did reach back out.
Absolutely. No, I'm thankful for them
Mhm,
because it just is like they need real people on
mhm,
this side of it. You
yes,
need real people who have gone through some
mhm,
shit to
yeah,
be the freaking best.
yeah,
So, right? Like,
yes,
otherwise, like, if you have Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect and they're just like doing the protocols, like, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Like, I can't.
yeah.
You're a robot, like, you're AI. Do we connect with AI? No.
No, at
We
all.
like the imperfections.
Mhm,
We need the imperfections. We need to know that, like, "Hey, I've been you. You
mhm,
can do this. I've seen people come back from hell. You
yeah.
can too."
Yeah. No, and because of that, I feel like I'm able to be more relatable to people. Like when people
Yes.
go into the clinic and they're like, "Oh, you went to school here too?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
"Oh, you were in Independence High." "Yeah." I've been here, I've been there, and some of them they kind of like limit themselves just because a family member's been in jail, or I'm not gonna be able to do this because I don't know nobody that's been to school. And then I'll tell them my story, and they're like, oh, like, like I have no excuses
You
now.
took away all of their excuses.
Yes, like I
They
robbed it
can't
from
be
them.
mad. Yeah,
Yeah.
you literally robbed them.
Yeah, now they,
Robbed them.
they can't use it no more,
Find another. You have any other excuses? Let's
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I love encouraging people like, you can't
Yeah.
use nothing
No.
because, I've been through it and if I could achieve it, you could too.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and you had great reasons to just not.
yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You're wonderful. Like anybody would understand if you're like, "Oh, I can't work."
Yeah, like they actually like I still have like a disability placard too to this day just because they thought I would probably be disabled for the rest of my life.
Oh my
And just
gosh.
because of the severity I was in, you
No, but you're
know.
in great shape. You're fit. You're like very active. Your job is physical. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, no, you know, I love to be physically active. Even when I was studying with my exercise science degree, I was doing personal training. Me and my brother are training for a marathon right now. So
wow.
it just I have no limitations now. But
None.
like you said, it would have been easy for me just to apply for disability
Mhm.
and just kind of be on the couch watching Netflix or something like that for the
Yeah.
rest of my life. And
Yeah.
receiving a check. But I didn't choose that path. I chose a more difficult path, which is a better path.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. When you were interviewing, did any of the interview panelists bring up anything from your past and mention it as a flag?
Yeah, and they would tell me too, like, because of your past, you
Yeah.
may not be able to get your state license. And is this
I
gonna
live for this.
yeah, is this gonna
Ugh.
stop you from applying to our program? Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, the program is still gonna basically take your money, right? It's and
At
they're
least
still
they
gonna
were
charge you.
honest.
Yeah, they're still gonna charge you.
Yep.
So you could get done with your whole program, pass all your exams, and possibly still get denied by your board exam,
Yeah.
from your state.
Yep.
So, and I knew that, from the beginning. So that was a sacrifice I was already willing to take. I'm like, I'm just not
Mhm.
going to take no for an option. I'm going to keep going. So they did tell me that, and I just told them, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that I might not be able to get my state license, but I feel if I'm able to pass this program and
Yeah.
receive my doctorate degree, I feel like there shouldn't be a reason they deny me, but we'll find out at the end. And we'll find out at the end and I just want to do it anyway.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. So that was your flag, right? That
Yes.
they call it a red flag.
Mhm.
Okay. That's just so annoying. I hate that term. I hate it so much because it's like they get to sit on this high horse and there's like a plethora of students, applicants who are
Mhm.
like, please, 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 sir, I desperately like you're
Mhm.
so vulnerable,
Yeah.
as the applicant and you're against like the near impossible to get into these programs.
Mhm.
And for good reason, like there's a process to vet people and to
Mhm.
choose these students wisely. So I do respect it. Okay,
Mhm.
I do. But I've been filtered out and I was on the side and I was like, I couldn't have tried harder.
Yeah.
I had to like I just had to figure it out because as the first doctor in my family, I'm the person who went to Books a Million. Before that was like, I don't know if they're even still around, but I bought all like how to become a doctor. Like I started
Yeah.
square one. Nobody was telling me, and the
Mhm.
doctors who were already doctors, like they're busy. They're
Mhm.
not really, and how like all they need is one more job, like
Yeah.
somebody, hey, I want to be a doctor, and they're probably thinking, oh god, like don't, because
Yeah.
it's hard,
Mhm.
right? But then at the same time, like I've had counsel from the wrong people and pointing out flags, for example. So I worked full time, and so I was taking the pre-med courses. I had my bachelor's in radiology, but I had I guess a gap. So because I was like trying to just do it all.
Mhm.
Nobody told me you should stop working, take out loans, financially just eat it.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Go all in and then do your pre-med quickly and then get in. So had somebody said that, I would say, "Okay, I would have done that."
Yeah.
But that was never verbalized to me. So I was just like, "Okay, I'm going to just work because all this stuff costs a lot of money. It's way bigger than me, way bigger. So all of my money went into funding this, which I'm slowly taking it, which was giving me a flag.
Yeah.
And then, it takes away from like you going all into something, which I just didn't know. I wasn't educated and nobody like advised that. And then like for the MCAT, I mean, I took it God, 3 times. I scored so low, I didn't know that you could make a score that low. Like people made there's like 4 sections and there's and it's not because I wasn't smart, right? It was
Yeah,
just like I didn't have the time and I was trying to do too many things at once, but you can't always see yourself because that
yeah,
when you're in it, you need somebody to counsel you.
yeah.
And so not having that outside person saying you know, do this, which I always try to do, and I hope like I'm sure it offends some people, but I'm like, I would rather you be offended than you waste years of your life like me.
Yeah. No, and that's a good thing you do that because
Yeah,
a lot of counselors, a lot of people that work for these schools and stuff, they won't do
awful.
it. They
No.
won't do it.
They're nonsense.
Mhm.
Sorry. Not all people are
Yes.
nonsense, but the ones that I experienced were
Mhm.
if I listened to them, I would still be in the same job that I
Mhm.
started in. And that's not terrible, but that's not what I wanted or what I was supposed to be or do.
Yeah.
So yeah, any time gaps where you're not or like any low scores or retakes,
Mhm.
those are flags. And so now you're sitting amongst people who have already done it who are like okay, you are a flag. I'm like,
Mhm.
really? Well, I think you're a flag. How about
Yeah.
that? I think you're a strange flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's hard. There's
Yeah.
barriers and you got through them and you had every single reason to not.
Mhm.
And that's really badass.
Well, for yourself too, and it's that, you know, like you said, you had to learn the hard way too. And I feel like learning the hard way, like I had mentioned earlier too, gives us the ability to help others not have to learn the hard way. And some of
Mhm.
them will take the advice anyway because some of us are just stubborn.
Yeah,
Like myself, I was stubborn, but it's if we could help out just one person, two people,
that's it.
that's good.
Yeah.
It's rewarding because they don't have to
Yeah.
struggle the way we did.
No, they can suffer in different ways.
Yes. They'll suffer later anyway.
They can
Yeah.
suffer.
Yeah, clinicals, your residency,
Oh
stuff like
my
that, so
God, miserable.
yeah.
Miserable, right?
Yes.
Like, you wanna feel small, you try to get your doctorate in something, and then, man, you
Yeah.
get humble soup every single day.
Yes. Yeah, they'll
Delicious.
try to put you in your place.
Yeah, would you like some?
Yeah. No, you'll get there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, gosh. Was there anything so once you got in, was there any moment where you're like, "Screw this, I actually don't want this?"
There
Did you
was
try to
an
quit?
I didn't try to quit. I thought I was gonna like get kicked out. Just because cause like you said yourself, like nobody told me, like stop working because at that time I was living in Fresno and I'm like, okay, I could do this. I was taking 21 units at a time. I was able to, pass my classes. I was still working, I could do this.
Mhm.
And I thought I could until I seen that I was barely passing my courses. And I was working at Community Regional Medical Center in Fresno at that time. And I was working a good amount of hours, like 30, 40 hours, just because,
That's a lot. That's a
yes,
full-time
yeah, it
job.
was like a full time job. And I thought I could do it. And then I just started getting like C's and B's. And then if you
Yeah.
don't maintain a 3.0, you get put on academic probation.
Yes.
And my first quarter, they sent me the email, the warning, like Francisco, you need to bring it back up. And if you don't, you're gonna, get kicked out if you're not able to bring it back up by the second semester. So when
Yeah.
they told me that, I'm like, oh man, I gotta quit. So I quit, and from there, I'm just like, I'm not gonna leave this room until I figure out this information. So that was like one of those moments, like you said, that was my like, oh, like I didn't want to quit, but I thought like I did all this work already for nothing because they're gonna forcefully kick me out. And I thought I'm like, man, I'm not gonna be able
Yeah.
to achieve this. I'm not gonna be able to
Yeah.
make it. And it was, at that moment, I was like, oh man, I gotta get it together. I just gotta get some student loans and,
Yeah.
just try to survive.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what I would advise. I mean,
Hmm.
if I were to talk to myself back then, get your student loans. Like it's money's
Hmm.
not even real right now. Don't even look at it.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about
Yeah.
it. And I had nothing. Okay. So
Mhm.
I don't come from money.
Mhm.
I didn't have anybody financing me. It
Mhm.
was just me. So for that reason, my mindset was like, I can't afford this. These numbers are bigger than me.
Mhm.
I'm never going to be able to pay this back. Hey, maybe not. Okay, maybe not. But then
Mhm.
the amount of knowledge you get from it, this brain,
Yes.
that is worth it.
Mhm.
It's worth it times 1,000 times over all the pain and suffering, all the years, however much it costs to get that information into your brain is it.
Yeah. Like, because it actually teaches you like ways to study. It teaches you
Yes.
like how to grow, because that's why, a lot of people think like, oh, education is just, just to get your degree. No, if you actually do it with the right purpose and you actually,
Yes.
apply yourself, it teaches you a lot. It
The
taught me about
mindset.
business. Yeah, 100%. It taught
Yes.
me about business. It taught me about how to just communicate with people. It taught
Yes.
me how to, just learn and keep educating myself. To this day, I don't need to study as much as I do, but I still study. I try to learn business as much as I can. I try to learn from others. I listen to your podcast. I listen to many other
Oh, I
podcasts and
love
stuff like that.
yeah.
So I try to learn from everybody. And that's how, I was able to find you. And I'm like, because
Yeah.
I'm always doing research. I'm like, what's going on? What's the latest things going on right now? But I feel like school did that for me.
Yeah.
School taught me that mindset because I didn't have that mindset 10 years ago.
I
I
love it.
didn't. I was not even close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's a super valid point. So it's like you have to be around people who
Mhm.
are in some way different than you, who
Mhm.
have knowledge that you don't. Otherwise, you cannot grow. You
Mhm.
are choosing to not grow.
Yeah.
So I force myself to be around people that I don't that I can learn from, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that they're always willing to share,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It sometimes just means I'm shutting up and I'm just watching.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'm interacting. There's so many different situations that you can learn from, but you have to have that mindset
Mhm.
ready to like just take it in, positive and negative, right?
Mhm.
Like a negative situation that I learned from my master's of business, I
Mhm.
call it, was like bad business deals.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you lose so much and then you're
Mhm.
like, that's not gonna happen again.
It's not happening
Mhm.
again,
Mhm.
right? And then you make different new mistakes that are terrible, and it's like,
Mhm.
okay, so just getting into like you have to jump in. You're not going to have all the answers, and you have to be ready to learn, ready to play, and like let's just go. And in my opinion, my strategy is like recover quick.
Yeah.
When you slip, when you get knocked down, you're like, doop, okay,
Yeah, just get back
hop
to it.
back up.
No, and yeah, like when it comes to business too, like when I didn't know how to start a business,
Yeah, me
I just
either.
worked at physical therapy clinics and I'm like, I can't be working for these people, like I want to do my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. So I started seeking mentors and I found a physical therapist and we agreed on terms. I would work for him for 6 months and at that time, for less pay and I'll get mentored at that moment. But
Wow.
even through mentorship, and I was able to start my own clinic. I still like made a lot of mistakes, and
Oh
like you said,
yeah.
like that was perfect, what you said,
Yeah.
that's your master's
Mm-hmm.
of business because I'm like, man, that's not gonna happen again. I have to pay this much money back. Like, no, that's not gonna happen again. Like
Yep.
so these little mistakes that we learn from, is we know that not to do them again.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make the same mistakes,
Yeah.
and I feel it's sometimes we have to. Sometimes because if you don't take those risks either, you're never gonna grow.
I know, and
Mhm.
that's just so frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah, and and so, when it comes to fast forward now, so you have your own practice,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Mhm.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
What is your family? Are your family still around?
Oh,
And
yes, yeah,
yeah.
actually, my mom works my front desk right now,
Oh my gosh.
I have my nephew working for me and stuff too, so he's, one of my physical therapy aides there, he's been there for a few years now, he's great, and,
Wow.
my wife, she's a CEO, she, runs, like, everything in the behind the
Oh,
scenes and stuff, so,
yeah.
like, making sure billing's going good, making sure our, our assistants are doing
Mm,
their jobs,
mm.
so, it's just, like, a family business, and because of it, we're able to employ people. We're able to employ people in the city. We're able to mentor others in the community. So, business has been good. And I've been blessed, and I'm
Wow.
just continuing to grow. And we're actually looking for another location here in Bakersfield right now.
That's
Yeah. So
awesome.
hopefully this year will be up and going here in Bakersfield too.
Okay, so outside of Wasco then?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. We're looking here at different buildings in Bakersfield at the moment. So,
Wow.
yeah, we'll be having two practices hopefully soon.
Okay, so exciting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is that happening like in the next 6 months?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. Man.
Yeah.
And so insurance based.
Yes, insurance based and some
Okay.
cash services too.
Mhm.
That's what I kind of want to start implementing in the new clinic. Just
Mhm.
more like more modalities like hyperbaric chamber. I want to do like
Yeah.
some red light therapy. And I want to be
Yes.
able to start implementing these things as well.
They work.
Yeah, and
Love
so
it.
I want to do insurance, and those will be like additional cash services too on the side.
Yeah.
So that's what you know, in Wasco, the space that we have is a little bit smaller, so it's
Mhm.
just mostly just insurance space. But the location I'm looking at in Bakersfield right now, it'll we will have enough space to be able to do both.
Okay,
Mhm.
man. Well, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Let me see. It looks like we have about 5 minutes left, so we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a clinic here, cash based. So definitely that would go along with what you do, like
Okay.
for the wellness portion, right? And the
Yes.
hyperbaric is amazing. I don't know
Yeah.
which one if you've been shopping for them, but
Yeah.
there's just so many awesome benefits with it, even if you're post-operative, as you know, or
Mhm.
dealing with like dementia for brain health, wound healing. It's just unmatched.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually
highly recommend.
yeah, I actually went through it too. I was in a hyperbaric chamber just because of my car accident.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's when I kinda started learning about it. I'm like, "Why are they putting me in this machine?" Because I didn't know nothing about it, but now that, I'm getting more into just, obviously more services and stuff like that, I started doing my research on it, and there's actually another doctor in Fresno that I kinda like, share ideas with, and he kinda shares ideas with me too, and he has a few of them in his clinic over there in Fresno too. So,
Wow.
I'm always trying to, like, network, and my brother's actually in MP school right now too.
Oh, that's
Yes,
so
so he'll be
cool. Look at
graduating this year
you
too.
leading the way.
Yeah, so he'll be graduating beginning like next year, like, so hopefully we could partner up, next year also, kind of, get
That's
some things going there
amazing.
too.
Yeah. For the hyperbaric, when you had your so it was for your burn treatment, right?
Yes.
How many days per week did you go and for how long?
I really don't remember, but I know they were putting me in there at least like once a week from when I was already like conscious, when I was in my early on, when I was in an induced coma. I don't know how much times they put me in there
Oh my
because I was
goodness.
in an induced coma for a few months.
Wow.
So after that, after I woke up, I know they were putting me at
Jeez.
least in there like once or twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Once I the what I
Man.
could remember.
That's insane. Do you feel like there's any like did you have any like fuzzy memory I would say probably like a year after. I mean, there is like a post hospitalization
Mhm.
situation that happens where it's like you have to like get yourself back to baseline.
Yeah, I felt like there was a lot of times where people would ask me things, and it wasn't even around the time of my accident, but it would be
Mhm.
difficult for me to remember it still. And I don't know if it was just because of the car accident or the trauma with the car accident, but I did feel like, it was like I had a fog brain for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
brain
like
fog. Uh-huh.
like and just taking I think it maybe the medications too, just because
Oh,
I
totally.
was on so much like
Pain stuff.
Ambiens, Norcos, and oxycodons, and obviously the morphine drip when I was in there and stuff like that.
Oh
So
my
I was just on
gosh.
so much things that sometimes like I remember one time I even told my mom because my mom was there with me a lot, and I told her like, "Oh, one of my tias came to visit me and stuff like that," and she's like, "No, nobody was here," but I was seeing stuff too, just because
Hallucinations.
just because I was on
Totally.
so much medications.
Yeah.
So I feel like it took me a while to finally get back to myself, even when I got out of the hospital.
Yep.
Yeah, just those medications are no joke.
But the fact that you did it is
Mhm.
just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Did any of your interviews I'm just so curious, did any of that, like, ever come up in your interviews? Because they're invasive.
Yeah.
They're actually cruel.
Yeah.
So did that ever come up?
Yeah, they would ask me questions about like,
I knew
yeah, they
it.
would ask me everything.
Nasty, right?
Yeah.
Like, nasty. I'm sorry, did you have however I don't know the percentage of your burns, but it's just, like,
Yeah.
that's so personal.
Yeah.
That's the level that, like, we get put through
Mhm.
to get vetted to be here.
Yeah, they want every detail. They want
Yeah.
everything that you've been through, everything that you're going through at the moment. They make sure that, you're not, stuck on these medications
Yeah.
still, that, that you've actually been able to kick them.
Yes.
And I was able to, pretty quick,
Yeah.
after, I'm like, no, I need to get off these things because they're not even working anymore. So there's no reason for me to be taking them,
Yeah.
so I just kind of toughed it out and was able to get away from everything to
Yeah.
the point where like, I don't need nothing now. And I'm able just to, you know, live a healthy life and exercise every day and, just, you know, eat right and, take natural supplements and stuff like that too, just to keep, feeling better.
That's really badass.
Thank you. Thank
It
you.
is. Okay, so today, do you feel like there's any pain that you still have to manage and that you do that in very organic, non-medication ways that would help other people?
I Me personally, I try to do everything natural. I have like a sauna at home.
Yeah,
I have a cold plunge at home. I do start trying I started using like peptides too.
love
And
it.
I recommend I don't recommend, but I tell people,
I do. I
this what
recommend I like all of them.
yeah, I'll be like, this what I would do now if I was in your shoes.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
big
more
believer.
proper.
Yes, it's more proper, so
Yeah.
I tell them, this
Oh
is
my
what I
gosh.
would do if I was in your shoes.
Yeah,
If I was having the issues you have, I would, be doing BPC-157 with TB-500, and
yes,
I'd be doing these things. If I
I'd
was
take
like,
that. Yeah.
yeah. So me too. So that's the things that I've been doing that are more natural now
Yeah.
versus because right now, especially since I've been running a lot more, and I still have a lot of like scar tissue around my knees and
Oh, yeah.
just 'cause of all the burns and stuff, and then I still have some discomfort here and there. So in order to be able to recover faster, sometimes
Mhm.
I do use peptides like that. I
Yeah.
try to get in the sauna at least 3 to 4 times, just not for that, but for cardiovascular health and stuff like
Yep.
that too. So
Yep.
that's why I
And
try to,
turning over your cells,
yes.
autophagy and mitochondria.
Yeah, so that's why I try to do all that. So I always recommend it to people. I always tell people, try to do the natural things, right? That things that are going to decrease their inflammatory system.
Yeah.
Try to eat better. Try to stay away from a lot of sugary foods.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't want to hear, it, especially the older Hispanic population and stuff like that. They're so stuck in their ways and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of younger people, they listen, and I'll tell them, make sure you get your blood work done. Make sure you ask for your hormones. Make sure
Yeah.
that you're doing it at least like twice a year.
Yeah.
Because if you're 21 years old, there should be no reason why you have so low energy, So make sure you ask for your
Seriously.
hormones,
Yes.
because a lot of the time, like even a lot of doctors, I don't know if it's the insurance base, because a lot of them, like, you have to push them to check your hormones, and I'm just like, why haven't you got your hormones checked if
You
you're
know
feeling
what?
so low energy?
I don't want to speak for all doctors, but I can say that it's not common that your training includes hormone management.
No, okay.
It's almost like we're trained to just send people to endocrinology, and I say we because I have a primary care background, family
Mhm,
medicine. So you do rotations through different specialties, but
mhm.
the core of the guideline recommendations is really a referral. So
Okay.
um on one hand it's like, oh, handle everything in house, but on the other hand it's like this is a specialty, so don't
Okay.
touch it. So I'm like, so then
Yeah.
I taught myself like
Mhm.
through going to, these different courses and reading books and just making myself the specialist, right? So
Yeah.
getting the board cert in it so that now I know what to do with it because it's like in every single patient.
Yeah.
And it's every single thing that it's just associated to so much pathology. It's like you have to know it.
Yeah. No, and that's yeah, I didn't know that. So because I'm not in your like field
Yeah.
100%, but
Yeah.
I always recommend it to them. I tell them sometimes we have to like give a little fib. Like feeling like I'm trying to do everything positive. I'm trying to get good sleep. I'm trying to eat good, and I still have low energy.
Yeah.
If you tell them those things, they'll be able to do your hormone panel now.
Maybe.
So yeah, maybe maybe if you push them a little bit more, So I always push for I always push for blood work. I personally go through a company online, and I get my blood work done twice a year, and they're able to give me my app, my results on the app, and I'm
Yeah.
able to talk to an NP on there, and you kind of just get what I need from there
I
and stuff
love
like
it.
that. So that's what I do, and that's what I always encourage other people to do too. Because if you don't
Yeah.
even know what's going on in your own system,
Yeah.
how are you going to be able to take care of yourself? And
Yeah.
that's why I love the medical field. I love everything about it. I love encouraging people to seek help, to be able to talk to professionals, and
Mhm.
if you're talking to one that they're not doing enough, find another one.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
it's very simple.
exactly. Yeah. I love that because like if one doctor say no, like there's still somebody out there for you.
Mhm.
Maybe you're not a good match.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just a lot of people don't even know that they can do that and that maybe there's just a different personality style
Mhm.
that would better fit with you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, a lot of them
yeah.
get hooked, like you said.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't know they could,
Yes.
and sometimes they just they build that bond because they've been with them for like 5 to 10 years or
Yes.
something like that. Or this is a family doctor. That's why, like, I've been knowing them my whole life, and I'm like, okay, but if they're not doing what you think, like even for
Yeah.
myself, like the my physical therapy approach is more physical.
Yeah.
I like to take more of a physical approach, more
Yeah.
movement approach.
Yeah.
I don't use hot packs, I don't use cold packs, I don't really use TENS units. I get people moving, and I
Yeah.
do manual therapy.
Yeah.
And so my physical approach may not be for everybody either. So
Right.
if there's a lower level patient and they're so used to the traditional physical therapy, and they're used to the
Yes.
hot packs and the cold packs and the
Yes.
attendants. Okay, Ma, there's places for that. Yeah, there's a
Absolutely.
city over that you could go to, and they'll
Yeah.
do that for you.
Yeah.
But
And it's not personal,
yeah,
like,
it's not
you won't
personal.
even be offended.
No, I'm not at all, because I'm like,
Same.
yes, I'm not offended at all. There's a
Yeah.
place for you,
Yes.
and I'm not for everybody,
Exactly, same.
but, it's good to,
Yeah.
good to know that also that I'm not going to get offended, that it's
Yeah.
okay. But, me, as a physical therapist, I might not be your cup of tea, I might not be the type of treatment that you want.
Yeah.
Same thing with medical doctors,
But you might be.
yeah, it might be. And majority of the people that go there love it, because I get them
Yeah.
moving. I teach them things they've never been through. They say they've never been to a physical therapy place like that, because majority of them will just have them lay down
Yeah.
when I have these people moving up and down the hallways, and they didn't even know they were able to do things like that. But I'm
Yeah.
teaching them that they could, that their
Yeah.
bodies are resilient, that they're stronger than they
Trust their
think, and
body.
mhm,
Yeah.
and they start believing themselves to the point where they're like, my pain is gone. I haven't had pain in a month, and I'm just like, yeah, it's crazy what movement will do, right?
Yeah. No, it really is. Like,
Hmm.
that's the answer.
Yeah,
So, well, it looks like we are needing to wrap up, but
yeah,
it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It is super inspiring. How can people find you if they want to reach
yeah.
you, maybe for referral or anything?
Okay, my name's Francisco Padilla, and my practice is Padilla Physical Therapy and Fitness Incorporated. We are located here in Wasco, California, right now, and we are going to be having another location in Bakersfield soon.
I love it.
Thank
Well,
you.
keep living your purpose.
Thank you so much for having
It's
me. It was
looking
a
good on
pleasure
you.
meeting you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.